Hello and welcome to Rev Sports, the final dress rehearsal for the men in blue. India take on South Africa tonight in a warm-up game ahead of the T20 World Cup campaign at home. They walk in as favourites, but at this point, we're looking to see what the final playing 11 or what the most concrete playing 11 could look like, and all eyes will be peeled on tonight's game. On the other hand, you have India under 19 taking on Afghanistan under 19 in the Under 19 World Cup in the semi final. Joining me today is Debashish Sen and Shubhayan Chakrabarti from Mumbai. They're going to be reporting on the India versus South Africa warm up game and, of course, Shomik Chakrabarti as well. Debashish, quite a lovely view you've got there behind you. It's nice to see some greenery. Usually, when you join from Mumbai, it's always traffic or something like that. But tell us about what the mood is like in Mumbai. Is it feeling like the World Cup is getting near?
Actually, we are inside the DY Patil complex, and the stadium is situated inside the complex, and just a few yards away is the net practice area. But the moon, so as to say, Gargi, as we land when we landed yesterday, it has not taken off. Means so as to say, means obviously it will grow. It will grow slowly as and when it comes closer to the tournament. But we are expecting a full house today when India take on South Africa in the warm-up fixture. We are told that it will be a pretty decent turnout. So yes, we can actually show our viewers the atmosphere when we turn up in the evening. But as of now, it's basically the college students who are going and roaming about. So, but yes, and it will be a cracker of a game when it comes to the warm-up today.
Shubhayan, how are you looking at this fixture? Obviously, the number one question that everyone is asking at this point is, will Ishan Kishan feature at the top of the batting order? That's what everyone wants to know. And tonight, possibly everyone will find out what that last decision will be. From what we've seen in the past game, obviously Ishan Kishan taking the gloves was more than indication enough. But what are your thoughts about this game, the build up, and of course the Ishan Kishan question?
Build-up wise, it's pretty poetic that we are starting this entire T20 World Cup with the repeat of the 2024 World Cup final. That was a heartbreak for South Africa. For India, it was something which they snatched away just from the throats of the South African team, the entire T20 World Cup. And I'm pretty sure. And from there on, Surya Kumar Yadav's life has changed completely. He is now leading the entire Indian team. We don't have the troika of Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, and Ravindra Jadeja anymore in this T20 format. Gautam Gambhir, I think, since Gautam Gambhir has taken over, yes, we still miss the presence of Rohit, Virat, and Jadeja, but this T20 team has taken off like anything. The Indian T20 side. So, as you rightly said, they are the hot favorites to win the T20 World Cup, but at the same time. South Africa, they are looking like a completely different team from the last T20 World Cup. At the last tournament, they look like an unbeatable force. But from there on, their form has dipped. Yes, there are still a few players who were part of that T20 World Cup final, but someone like a Henrik Klassen, who was the Herculean for that Proteas team, he's not there anymore. So for South Africa, a lot has changed. In 2025, they won only 5 or 6 T20Is out of 20 matches. So their form has also not been the best. But this is a very, very good South African side. But they would want not revenge, but they would want this story to get complete. And what better to start this campaign against India on Indian soil, the same team that defeated them against in that final in Barbados. But having said that, tonight, as you rightly said, we will perhaps find the answer as to who will open along with Abhishek Sharma. Mood, it is still pretty early in the morning. People are going about their business. It's a college, university campus area. So you don't, when you enter this university campus, you don't get the vibe of a T20 World Cup. But I'm pretty sure when the match starts, when the time tickles off, there will be fans and it will be a sold out affair. People have been asking about where to get the tickets, where to find the tickets. So DY Patil never disappoints. Navi Mumbai crowd, it never disappoints. So expect a jam-packed crowd. Expect some final questions to be answered tonight. And what better occasion than to have a repeat of that 2024 T20 World Cup final, Kargi?
Shomik, every sort of discussion that I've had, around the T20 World Cup and India's defending campaign, everyone has said that South Africa might just be once again the dark horse. South Africa is the team to look out for. How are you looking at tonight's game?
It's just a warm-up game, Gargi. The important thing is that Tilak Verma. We have to keep an eye on Tilak Verma. Tilak Verma played for India A against US, which is very good news. And Tilak Verma is the glue in this batting order. At number three, he is the glue, and he is one player whose batting is not one-dimensional. He can play to situations. So Tilak Verma is very, very important to this. So from that point of view, this game is mostly about getting Tilak Verma into the groove, because in the last game when he played against US, although he didn't score too many, but I mean he looked good in terms of the injury is gone. He is now fully fit. I mean, he was very good as far as his running between the wickets is concerned, and that was the main thing. If he was running well between the wickets, so it's Tilak Verma. It's about getting up to speed. He has missed a few games. He is coming back from an injury layoff. So this is the main thing. As far as the team is concerned, otherwise, I mean, see, India, it is very, very, it's nigh or impossible to beat India in this format. If you look at, uh, if you look over the past 2 years, the current T20 World Cup cycle from the 2020 World Cup after the 2020 World Cup final, only for, I mean, 11 batsmen, uh, all teams combined, 11 batsmen have scored at a strike rate of 150 plus, both against pace and spin, and four of them are Indians. Only two teams have scored posted totals in excess of 250 during this cycle. The other team is Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe did it against teams like Seychelles, Gambia, and I mean another this associate nation. India have posted 250 plus totals during this cycle thrice. It is a team where Shubman Gill, Yashasvi Jaiswal, they don't have a place. You can imagine. I mean, Shubman Gill, the quality, the likes of Shubman Gill and Yashasvi Jaiswal, they don't have a place. Sanju Samson, who was great over this cycle, he is now uncertain in the playing 11 because, I mean, Ishan Kishan is providing more impact at the top. Kuldeep Yadav, he will walk into any other team at this World Cup. He will just walk into the playing 11 of any other team. But here, Kuldeep Yadav, if the conditions are flat, Kuldeep Yadav might entirely sit out because he could be surplus to India's requirements. As far as bowling is concerned, such is the strength of this team. I think India are unbeatable in as far as this format is concerned.
India's tournament to lose, says Shomik Chakrabarti. Rohit, before I go back to Debashish about the warm-up game, tonight we're going to see India under 19 take on Afghanistan under 19. We spoke about this yesterday, but to anyone who hasn't been following India's campaign in the under 19 World Cup, we've seen a lot of good performances. The number one let's say concern has been for fans who have not been too involved is that the Indian team is too dependent on Vaibhav Suryavanshi. But from time to time, we've seen that some performances from lower down the order, from middle order, R.S. Amrish, Vian Malhotra, and some others as well, Ayush Matre as well, the captain, has been firing, has been saving the team. But tonight's game, what are the threats do you think there are for India from Afghanistan?
So, the most important point at this point of time is that they have good batters with them, which we don't see. If you talk about Afghanistan team, you'll definitely say the first point is who are the spinners they have, who are the quality, means any mystery bowler in their side, any leggies, any left arm wrist spinners they have. So the answer is no to all of these questions because their top, run getter is Faisal Sinozada, who's second at the list after Ben Mayers from England. He was at number two with 325 runs. And if you talk about their top bowlers in this tournament, and I'm not talking about only specifically to Afghanistan, it's the overall record of the tournament where they have someone like a Nuristani Omarzai who is a fast bowler at this point of time, which I said in the earlier part that as soon as we tells you that it's a bowler who is, ruling the charts as far as bowling is concerned, and he's from Afghanistan. The first thought will be, might be another mystery spinner, someone like a Rashid, or someone like a, Mujib, or someone with different kind of quality like Allah Ghazanfar. So, or a Noor Ahmed, but nothing like that. So we have to save ourselves from both of these, and there are others also. Be it about, Osama Sadat, be it about Khalid Ahmed Zai. There are multiple batters this team have, but the only lacking point in this team is, it's very similar to what their senior team does. Is it's when you put them to chase a target, then they really, you can see the batting lineup is little jittery at that point of time. So put a big score in the scoreboard and tell them to chase it down. That's where, you see a Afghanistan type team lacking in this tournament also, like what happens with their senior team also. So yeah, there are multiple players. When you talk about, they have two good leg break bowlers, they have two good wrist left arm wrist spinners also with them. Apart from that, they have an informed batting lineup, only beaten by Sri Lanka in this full tournament. They won against South Africa quite convincingly, and apart from that, they had some very one-sided wins also, and that's why they are here. It's not about that, oh, teams are not playing with them with certain reasons or rain threats all over the around, and that's why they are here. That's not the exact reason. They've played some really good cricket, they have some quality players with them, and that's what we have to watch out for, Gagi, at this point of time.
The other thing I want to talk to you about, Rohit, is Oliver Peak.
Hmm.
Yesterday we saw some great performance,
Yeah,
heroics from Oliver. Even though
yeah,
England eventually, outplayed Australia under 19, but at the same time, you have to talk about these sort of performances. You saw this back in, when Rishabh Pant hobbled down in Manchester,
yeah,
when Chris Wokes walked out with a broken arm in at the
yeah.
Oval. So these are the performances that stay with you for a very long time, even if the results don't go your way.
I think you can do a direct comparison with last year's World Cup in Mumbai when Glenn Maxwell batted, and the way he batted in that particular innings won the game single-handedly versus Afghanistan. Here, similar thing have happened because it was the battle of captains. Thomas Shrew versus Oliver Peak. For England, Thomas Shrew scored 100, and he was the only guy who looked very settled in that batting part. Because earlier, when you taken the wicket of Ben Mace, and Ben Mace is the highest run scorer of this tournament. He's the leading run scorer. So getting his wicket at that early stage, it looked like that Australia controlled this game. But the way Thomas Shrew batted in that, in that innings, it looked like that he has done it for England now. It's all sorted for England. But the way, as you rightly said, Oliver Peaks playing his second under 19 World Cup. Last time around, also when they beat India in the final, he was there. He was the main man there. But not with this kind of performance. He played this another World Cup, this time as a captain, and came up with that amazing 100. Yes, he was hobbling also, but run out of partners. I'll definitely say yes. The last wicket is his wicket, but the kind of attack he was taking on at that point of time, it's completely looking like that he was going for a lone war. And it was too much to ask for at that point of time with that kind of bowling quality England have. So yeah, a great innings, but tough luck for Oliver Peak.
Absolutely. And going back to the Indian team, we've talked about this before, that no matter what combination you select out of this 15, it always looks like a
Hmm.
first string team. It always looks like the strongest 11. But at this point, there is one little concern when it comes to the Indian camp. It is Washington Sundar. If anyone has an update on what's going on with him, I believe there was a fitness test that was supposed to happen. So if anyone has an update on it, I'd love to know.
We'll get an update on his fitness test by late afternoon. So maybe perhaps in the evening show we'll get to let you know.
All right, great. Debashish, going back to you, Shomik brings up a very good point about Tilak Verma. The last time we saw him under immense pressure was at the Asia Cup final. Obviously, there was not just performance pressure, but also the kind of politically charged environment that was there, the kind of cool head on his shoulder that is there, and he was able to pick India out of that grave situation and win the game for India. This is something that will be very important for Indian team to have, and him coming back is a huge positive.
Yeah, if you look at that top order, means obviously it has plenty of firepower. Means with someone like Ishan Kishan now coming good, and he's been in tremendous form, and obviously he is that Tilak Verma, in that number three position suits perfectly. Suits perfectly. He can obviously, if a quick wicket falls, he can anchor the innings as well. He can play some big shots, as was the case when he play in that warm up match against USA, where he scored at 38 runs or 23 balls. But he in that small knock he scored three boundaries and two sixes. So he can accelerate at any point of time. And obviously, and you have Surya Kumar Yadav to follow. So I think that top five has enough firepower, Gargi, and with Tilak also, we know what a player he is, and obviously we definitely will walk into the side in that batting order, and you need someone of his solidity at number three, and he can also play an anchor role to perfection. So I think that augurs well for India heading into the tournament. So we will find out how he copes up, how he handles pressure, because it's his first competitive game. Means obviously, when you consider USA, I don't think it's as good an opponent is, with due respect to the USA side. But against South Africa, it will, because if you look at the group stages, obviously there is not much enough competitiveness when you talk about the teams. But South Africa, I think if he posts a big total, that will give a world of confidence for him as well, and also the team will also look solid. Gargi.
Absolutely. Shomik, now for the final round of questions here. A lot of people in our comment section want to know what are the latest update when it comes to PCB, when it comes to Pakistan. What is their stance at the moment, and where is ICC at?
Yeah, absolutely. Gargi, I'm coming to that, but before that, a little more on Washington Sundar. Shubhan very rightly said that he will undergo a fitness test today, and by evening, we'll get to know about the status. But what I'm told, and what my understanding is that even if he is not, he doesn't pass this particular fitness test, the Indian team is willing to wait before taking a decision on Washington Sundar. India would be playing against three associate nations at the World Cup during the group stage, and if Pakistan don't turn up, these are the only three matches they would be playing. So they have enough time. So even if Washington Sundar needs a little bit of time, because what yesterday I was talking with someone, and I was told that it's too early to take a call because we still have enough time. We have three assets, so we are playing against three assets. So going ahead, we can wait before taking a decision on Washington Sundar. Coming to Pakistan, we have already written. See, the fact is that it's complicated legal thing. Given that there are a few factors. One is that on the face of it, Pakistan's ground and the majority of the member boards are of the view at the ICC that Pakistan's claim that it's a partial force majeure, it doesn't hold water, because you are coming to Sri Lanka, and for that very reason, your security concerns, the issue related to security concerns, will fall flat on its face. Back channel negotiations are ongoing, and we have reported it. We did a breaking story last night also. But going ahead, what will happen going beyond the sanctions and all? And I'm coming up with a story in a couple of hours or in an hour or two, that the PSL could be the first casualty if Pakistan refused to budge, because it is not going to be an ICC decision, and I want to clarify that. It is that the majority of member boards have taken exception, and the common feeling, the common consensus is that Pakistan are undermining the integrity and sanctity of the tournament. And they are belittling the game of cricket. This is the feeling. And going ahead, we'll think about using or granting NOCs to our players to play at the PSL. Now, according to Pakistan Cricket Board, PSL has a valuation of, and that is according to Pakistan Cricket Board, has a valuation of 4 billion Pakistani rupees. That is according to Pakistan. And a significant Pakistan Cricket Board, and that is for sure, Pakistan Cricket Board gets a significant chunk of its revenue from PSL. Now, if PSL, if foreign players, if
Right.
good foreign players refuse to turn up, don't get the NOCs, refuse to turn up PSL, then it becomes basically a white ball Qaedi Azam trophy. So that is the thing. That is what I have heard, and this is something I am going to write in an hour or two.
Absolutely. Shubhain, it's clear that Pakistan's take is definitely against and a political posturing against India. But what they don't seem to have calculated is how much it affects other nations as well, especially associate nations. Look, $5-10 million will not affect BCCI as much as it will possibly affect years of revenue for associate nations. And I think this is where the serious damage comes from PCB, because also when you think talk about commercials, a huge chunk of commercials or revenue comes from India, Pakistan. So when it comes to ICC as well, they are in a tough spot at the moment.
Absolutely. Revenue wise, India could have easily, not play a tournament like an Asia Cup, but they have been participating in Asia Cup just because to support the other smaller ACC nations. Nepal is there. There are many countries. Oman is there. Who get a significant chunk. Even if they are not participating, they get a chunk of revenue from the Asia Cup. Similarly, it goes for all the ICC tournaments. More than 100 countries are dependent on ICC revenue, and not all countries are like India or Australia or England who can generate significant funding for themselves. Even Australia and England are dependent on India, and the bilateral relations between the two countries, and not all the countries get that leverage of playing India and supporting and get that funding from a bilateral series by playing against India. So for Pakistan, they what if you go by the ICC statement which came a couple of days earlier, where they lashed out at the Pakistan government and the statements made by the Pakistan government, and they clearly said that it is for the larger interest of the sport, larger integrity of the sport and the tournament itself. And yes, you are jeopardizing not only the India Pakistan game, but you are jeopardizing the entire revenue of the T20 World Cup. Even if I leave out the T20 World Cup and the revenue that comes from it, you are jeopardizing smaller nations who are participating in the tournament. Someone like in Italy, Canada, Namibia, who are part of this tournament. And as I earlier said, this tournament funding is not limited to those who are just participating. Yes, they get the participating fee, that is extra, but revenue wise, it is distributed to all the countries who fall under the ICC. So for them, those who are not participating, Papua New Guinea, there are many countries who are not participating in this tournament, and they also get a chunk of revenue from ICC. So Pakistan are not only jeopardizing their future, but they are also hitting the funding of these smaller nations, which is completely unfair for those who depend on ICC funding, Gargi.
Agreed. Final question on the show. Webber Taragi here is saying, for what ICC is waiting? Why are they not releasing any official statements? No wonder why FIFA is topmost sporting organization. The most logical answer to this is that ICC would not want two full members out of the T20 World Cup. But Rohit, what are your sources saying about this? We know that back channel negotiations are on, but your take.
Yeah, so what I came to know, I think last night and today morning is all about that Pakistan is not interested in sending any kind of mail as of now. As soon as we are seeing in last 48 hours, they haven't considered anything to send a mail across. Apart from that, there are a couple of things. Yes, if you read that the mail Shubhanda just mentioned, if you read the last part of it, it says that mutual acceptable resolution. So it's not like that. ICC is not saying that we won't do anything related from our side. We don't do anything related to our side. It will be like that, do kadam tum chalo, do kadam hum chalenge, and then we'll come to a mutual spot and we'll decide that what to do. So if anyone is thinking that from here onwards everything will go down against Pakistan, it's not like that. Maybe you can see some some parts of the conversation, or some part of the decision where you can see that yes, ICC is also making a mutual effort to make this to just to resolve this, because as you rightly said, it's not only about just to tell Pakistan that you can also go out of the tournament. As you said, in case of Bangladesh, means you didn't said that go out of the tournament. You gave them multiple opportunities. You had a conversation with them, multiple kind of video conferencing, personal visits, and after that, when you saw that it's not coming out as far as solution is concerned, you have to introduce a new team. And similar thing can't be done with the Pakistan also, because yeah, because that the kind of economics around it, the kind of amount is being on this particular game, and there will be pressure from the broadcaster also. So it's not that simple that you'll say that okay, if Pakistan is not coming, we can run this tournament around without Pakistan also. So I think it's not easy for ICC also at this point of time. And obviously the kind of the kind of solution they want at this point of time, neither Pakistan nor ICC nor the people who are intermediating in this are at this point of time came to that situation where you can conclude it and say that yes, this is the way around.
Yes, Shomik.
Gargi, it's important to understand the whole contractual wording of it. To start with, Pakistan, as per the MPA, Pakistan are bound to notify in case there is a selective participation. Pakistan, as per the MPA, which is a legal document, they are bound to notify ICC about that. In all previous forfeitures, the respective boards notified the ICC about those forfeitures. Pakistan so far have been saying that okay, ICC, based on the tweet from the Pakistan government handle, ICC issued a press release. So in turn, it has already notified the concern, the Pakistan stand. But as per the MPA, they need to notify. And what I have been hearing, that Pakistan will eventually notify, but that is very likely after February 12th, after the Bangladesh general elections. It is unlikely that they will do it before Bangladesh elections. That is one thing. Another thing is that clause 12 or 14, most probably clause 12 of the MPA says government order is a force measure. It also terms government order as a force measure. But force measure is generally applicable for the entire tournament. Can you be selective? That is the debate. Can you be selective in case of Pakistan are claiming it is a partial force measure? But if that can be done, because that is directly contravening. If you go through the ICC constitution, which is uploaded on their website, that is directly contravening ICC constitution. Drastic measures can be taken, and that is the last resort. What we have already reported at this point in time, ICC deputy chair Imran Khwaja is doing back channel negotiations with the Pakistan Cricket Board, because the implications and the consequences, even for Pakistan and wider world of cricket, like Shubhan mentioned, I mean the associates, and they are jeopardizing the entire revenue of the T20 World Cup, and it could be severe. I mean that is why, what, according to our sources, Imran Khwaja is in negotiations with the Pakistan Cricket Board and trying to convince them that, look, for your sake, India doesn't need a penny. India's revenue will not be affected, but it is for your sake. It is advisable that you turn up for the game.
You have to
Having
admit
said
there
that,
is.
having said that, Gargi, I think ICC and the broadcasters now need to figure out a way to sustain the sport without this India-Pakistan clash. Every tournament,
It is
every major tournament.
it is very
Yes, yes, yes.
difficult, Shubhayan. It is very difficult,
I know
Shubham, because
whether
for because
bring down the valuation, whether bring down the valuation in the next cycle, do anything you want. But if you keep on putting India and Pakistan in the same group, I am pretty sure these things will continue to happen, and
yes,
this will jeopardize the entire sport. Bring down the valuation in the next cycle. Yes, I understand they have put up a valuation. The Geostar or whoever the broadcaster is, they have put out a valuation given counting the number of India Pakistan possible matches in the major tournament. But having said that, in the next cycle they should go and figure out a valuation which can be sustainable without India Pakistan clash. If they meet in the semi final, if they meet in the final, then let it be. That's upon faith. That's upon fate. That's upon how these two teams play in that particular tournament. But you can't be dependent. You can't make the entire cricket ecosystem depend on this particular clash where these two nations, especially from Pakistan, every tournament there's some issue that is cropping up. So I think for ICC, for the broadcasters who are spending billions of dollars, I think they need to figure out a way to sustain this sport without India Pakistan clash. Matlab, if I have to put it in simple words, you can't be dependent on a rogue nation who keep on pulling up issues after issues without any reasons whatsoever. So keep aside India Pakistan match, put up a valuation that could be sustainable for the broadcasters, for the advertisers, for the sponsors, for the teams, for all the nations. And then if they face in the final semi final, then let it be. Then I don't think any country can come up with a partial force majeure or anything of that sort.
Shubhan, you have a very, very valid point, and it's a very, very fair point. But if you look at the commercial side of it, if we start thinking purely in terms of commerce, the current rights cycle, the broadcast rights for the current cycle is $3 billion, and it is based on a certain number of India-Pakistan matches,
Right.
because that is the cream product in that
Yes.
deal. Now, it is you what you have been saying is absolutely right, that you cannot trust a rogue nation and someone that country is every time is trying to hold the game of cricket, let alone India or other ICC board members. They are trying to hold the game of cricket to ransom. But then again, when the if you if you omit the India Pakistan thing, if you reduce it, the broadcast value will come down. And who will be affected? Those Papua New Guinea and the other nations, because
But
their revenue share.
at least they will be getting something other than depending on and watching all the news
That
platforms for whether
Yes,
Pakistan will play in this cycle or not.
exactly, exactly. Both
Something is
sides have
better
an.
than nothing.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But then again, this is something that has to be decided at the ICC annual conference, or when all the
Yeah,
associate members are also present. So this is a tricky call. This is a tough call. But at the end of the day, at this point of time, we can come to a conclusion, and it's a consensus, Gargi. I think that Pakistan is holding the game of cricket to ransom, isn't it?
100%. And there's a super chat here before we close the show. We'll take this one and then we'll take your leave. Putting aside the hue and cry from both sides, question two, since Rohit is not there, Shomika, what is the final outcome? If Pakistan gains financially, then it's not good. What is the real long term benefit for Indian cricket?
So, what is the question? How the Pakistan
I'm
cricket?
trying to
How,
understand as well.
how
Those
the Pakistan
broadcasters are Indian.
No, broadcasters. So see, broadcasters. I read a copy today in one of the papers that the broadcasters will sue the Pakistan Cricket Board, which is fundamentally wrong. That copy is fundamentally wrong. First of all, no notice has been sent to the PCB as yet from the broadcasters. That is the thing. Number two, broadcasters cannot sue Pakistan Cricket Board because their agreement is with the ICC. They will take the matter to the ICC, and ICC in turn will sue or whatever, will seek compensation from the PCB, indemnity, and that can be taking away that much of amount from PCB's revenue share and other damages. But this is the process. It is not that the broadcasters will directly sue the PCB.
Quite a tricky situation. You have to admit that ICC is in right now, which is why impulsive decisions will not help ICC, which is why there's a delay. in any decision from the ICC, and that's for the better of world cricket. Thank you so much, Shomik, Shubha, and Devashish, and Rohit for joining. We'll be back ahead of the warm up game at 6 p.m., so don't forget to join us then. Till then, you have Shubhayan and Devashish reporting from on ground. If there are any updates, especially concerned with Washington Sundar, they'll be here back. So thank you so much and have a nice day.